Hello and welcome to Strange Weekly News. In this show, we're taking a look into the news and headlines to pick out curious reports of the strange, the weird, and the mysterious. Anything from UFO news to science advancements, the paranormal, and stuff labeled fringe science and fringe phenomena. Each news item we go over in the show, I will place all the links to them in the description box below once this live show is over, as well as a chapter timeline index. Hello and welcome to all of my first time viewers and listeners and everyone watching this live. Today's Friday, and with Strange Weekly News, we do a gift card giveaway. So the base price is 10. People already sent some stuff in, making someone super happy. Jonasai, thank you for that. And Chris James, thank you as well. Looking at $35 right off the bat before the show even started. And the word of the day, it's one of my favorite words. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen here because one of my favorite words is noodles. I love noodles. They're delicious. I eat them every day. I eat ramen like I'm eating it less, to be fair. But we will do the drawing at the very end of the show. So place hashtag noodles in the live chat if and only if you are watching this live. And if you want to make someone's day, put in a super sticker, super chat that says for the gift card. I will rack that up. And like I had said, the drawing will be done at the very end of the show. There's so much to cover today. I am absolutely so excited for today's news. So thank you for everyone putting in their entries. And I'll remind you a few times. So that is a-okay. All right. But tenemos noticias excelentes. Now, why am I saying that in Spanish? Well, it's because I'm foreshadowing something. And no, I am not foreshadowing the fact of me taking Spanish classes to make my Venezuelan mom proud. That's not the case. Actually, and this is like so exciting, guys, is that Mexico, the country of Mexico, is going to have a UFO hearing September 12th. And we have the names of the people that are going to be there. And it's going to be so cool because here's what I really think. This is my honest thoughts here. Mexico, the government of Mexico, they saw the UAP witness hearing July 26th. They went to Reddit. They read all of the comments and they said, all right, all the ones that are like the most important and the biggest liking comments, we're going to have that happen at our hearing. And they did exactly that. First of all, it's going to be an international hearing, meaning there's going to be multiple people from around the world that are going to be there. And a lot of people were like, I really want Robert Salas to be there. I want him to be a part of the witness hearings, at least in the United States. Mexico was listening and they said, we got you. So Robert Salas is going to be there along with a bunch of other fantastic names. I'm going to share my screen here of a super fast collage I made like 5 minutes before the show. And these are the people that are going to be speaking at this hearing again, September 12th. It is a public hearing. And here's the really, really sad part. There are no news outlets that have covered this. I could not find one article of people saying, oh my gosh, Mexico's having a hearing. You can only find it on Twitter. Why? Because some of these people actually shared it on Twitter, such as Ryan Graves, Robert Salas, Jaime Maussan. We have Ronnie Burnett. And this last one, he is from Japan, and his name is Yoshiharu Asakawa. Now, for those that might not be familiar with these people, I'll give you just a really, really brief overview. We have Ryan Graves, who was a part of the UAP witness hearing, who was a Navy pilot, and him and his squadron saw UFOs. Then you have Robert Salas, who was a witness to the Malmstrom Air Force Base incident dealing with nuclear weapons and UFOs. You have one of the biggest UFO researchers in Mexico, Jaime Maussan. And then you have one of the biggest Brazilian UFO researchers, Ronnie Vorne. And then you have a Japanese congressman, and his information was a little bit limited, and that is Yoshiharu Asakawa. And so this is going to be an absolute international hearing. You have the United States, you have Mexico, you have Brazil, you have Japan. Now, it's being alluded potentially that Mr. Asakawa might be speaking on behalf of Japan and maybe a few other Asian countries and their sightings. But here is the big thing, the biggest difference between our hearing in the States, which many found amazing, others found absolutely disappointing, and this Mexican one is not only It's going to be international, which is incredible. But the second aspect is we are not only getting witnesses, but we're also getting researchers, those that are incredibly knowledgeable in the topic, that have dedicated their lives to do this research. And they're going to be there and they're going to be speaking in front of many, many people and truly across the world as well. So that's what's going to be so incredibly exciting. I'm very, very disappointed that no articles are covering this, unless it's like super deep in the web, maybe, but I couldn't find them to be able to link it for you. So instead, I did link Ronnie Vernay's Twitter, because he's keeping people up to date on this hearing, as he will be a speaker there, along with some other things as well. There isn't a lot of information about this hearing, so there isn't too much I can say about it until it happens. I don't even know who's going to be airing it, but once I find out, I would absolutely love to stream it right here on YouTube for all of us to watch live, like what we did for the United States UAP hearing July 26th. So I will keep you posted on that. Again, it will take place September 12th at 4 p.m. CST, which is Central Standard Time, or for 2 p.m. PST. So hit the notification bell in case we do stream it. I'd love to, but I'll keep you up to date on that, which is, guys, I'm so excited. And here's that official paper that these witnesses received from the Mexican government with the names of the people, those that I had just showed you in the collage, along with the information, September 12th at 4 p.m. CST, which is super duper cool. And I'm stoked. When I came across this news, I was thinking I could not be more excited. Like, I am more excited for this hearing than any other hearing we've ever received, which is really saying something. And this was just published yesterday, August 24th, 2023. Okay, so on to our next thing. A lot of people are, Gary saying, stream it live. I'd love to. Again, I've got to find out who's going to be streaming it, what outlet, so that we can get it done right here as well. But while we're on the conversation of updates, Ronnie, the person that's going to be speaking at this hearing, is one of the absolute very, 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 very few researchers that's keeping us up to date on the alien attack in Peru. There's a lot of people that have been asking me, saying, Cristina, I want more updates. And I'm saying, dude, I'm really sorry. There isn't that much to give to you because no one's going there. Ronnie heard. He was listening to all of us and he says, I got you. So I'm going to share a screenshot of a video that was posted on his Twitter. And I will say again, X, whatever, his link will be for Article 1. For those that are used to these shows, I do place the links to all the articles that I cover, but there was no article for this one. So I just have this video, blah, 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 right? Whatever. This video is saying right here, and it's all in Spanish, so I'm just showing you a screenshot here, but these people are holding signs saying, the media, why are you lying? This person that made this huge claim that it was illegal miners on jetpacks, supposedly, these people are saying that the man that said that, and his name is Carlos Quintanilla, never actually went to this small town in Peru. He never went there. Now, is that true? We don't have the paperwork. We don't have his what's it called? Like airplane flight information. We don't have that. Will it be made public? I doubt it. But these people are saying that he never went. This person's making super bold claims. The Peruvian government said, yep, that's absolutely true. These other news outlets were saying, yep, it must be illegal miners on jetpacks. But the person, again, that made these claims, Carlos Quintanilla, never went there, according to these people. In this video, they are saying, if you want journalists, please come. We want to share this experience with you. We are absolutely mortified. What is happening is true. Don't make fun of us because you don't want to come here and report it yourselves. And I thought that was amazing, in the sense of, I completely agree. Reporters need to be there. And when Jimmy and I covered this story at length in a show that we did about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, I said, why aren't journalists going there? They can get the funding. It shouldn't be that hard. But he had mentioned that it's a 10-hour boat ride from the nearest from like the nearest place of transportation and then taking a boat to get over to this area in Alto Nani. And I said, look, this is the biggest story of all time. If true, journalists should be incredibly eager to go over there and speak to the witnesses and potentially capture any kind of data if possible, but that isn't the case. So these civilians are saying, yeah, come on over. We are being absolutely terrorized. No one's believing us. But if you want to come down and risk your life, give it a chance. We've tried shooting at them, we've tried capturing them, and we have failed every single time. These things are wearing very intensive armor, and no matter how many times we shoot them, they don't even fall. They just keep on going, and they're floating as well. And by the way, they're 7 feet tall. All of these weird aspects are coming out to light, and people, you have two camps here: those that believe these people in Peru and those that think, how could these people ever even watch Spider-Man and compare aliens to the Green Goblin? I feel like that is kind of kind of mean. I really do, because these people, they do have technology. Yes, they're a little bit, it's a bit more primitive, but they have phones, they have tech, they have electricity, they have movie theaters. I don't see why they can't watch Spider-Man, one of the best movies of all time when it comes to a superhero. I think it's dumb to just assume that people haven't watched Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. Come on. But again, you're going to have two camps say yes, others saying no, and I'm not here to tell you one or the other. I am merely just providing you information for you to make up your own mind, but also to keep you up to date on what's going on in Peru. And let me tell you, I'm just so excited. I have no words. Also, I'm not breathing properly, so that does affect my stutter, which is disappointing. I grew up with one, and doing these shows have really helped me improve with my speech impediment and stutter. But when I don't breathe, when I get a little bit too excited, it gets pretty bad. So, all right. On to our next article. We're speeding through these because we have a lot to cover, but I did have to save the first one for the first one, make the first article number one, because this Mexican UFO hearing is like the most incredible news maybe of the year. Now, will this hearing actually be good? We're going to find out. We really are, September 12th. But I have high hopes. People that are going to be there are amazing. I've personally spoken to Mr. Robert Salas, both for the debrief when I used to work for the debrief, along with on this channel as well, talking about UFOs and nukes. And let me just tell you, he is a soft-spoken gentleman. He is so kind, so sweet, so smart, so patient, and everything else that is great about a person, he has all those characteristics. So I'm very, very excited to see what he's going to have to say. Of course, along with Ryan Graves, is he going to say anything different from the hearing that he did in the States? Are there going to be different questions? We don't really know how this is going to turn out until it happens. And then, of course, you have Jaime, Ronnie, and Mr. I'm going to read his name again, Asakawa. It's going to be just, I'm ready for my popcorn. Like my ultimate butter theater popcorn. Oh yeah, and a cup of water. not the best combo, but you got to wash it down with something, right? And it's going to be water here. Getting into our next article. This one, it prompted me to want to speak to you about this. A lot of people are pretty familiar with Uri Geller, who is a spoon-bending man with his own, he can bend spoons with his mind, and he's a self-proclaimed psychic. Believe it or not, it doesn't really matter here. But he brought up an interesting point in an article to the Mirror that I would like to kind of discuss with you and get your thoughts on this, because actually, you know what? Back it up. I'm just going to read this to you slightly and then we'll get into it. So he is saying here that a lot's happened since after the whistleblower hearing that took place July 26th, and that is going to go down in history as like one of the most important days of humanity. All right. But he was going and he gave an exclusive interview to the Mirror. And he says, I think in the coming 10 to 20 years, there will be a UFO landing. It won't be an invasion. wherever they come from, I think maybe 2 or 3 species out there, if they wanted to destroy us, they could. And he continues, there will be a Steven Spielberg type landing. I hope they land somewhere like the White House lawn or the Eiffel Tower. It'll be the biggest revelation in history. It'll be like finding the Ark of the Covenant. Now, people, and this is something that just slightly bothers me, and only recently when you become more knowledgeable in this topic, and that is, yes, of course, we all want this super amazing landing on the White House lawn. Woo, super great. But do people forget about the Washington, D.C. flap that took place in 1952 that scared millions of people and people shot at these lights? Like, in Washington, D.C., on top of the White House? Do people forget that? But they're going to say, oh, Cristina, it's not as significant as a landing. Okay, we are here in 2023, and the amount of comments I get on videos very specifically to the Peruvian short that I did, which is getting amazing traction, by the way, and the whole 1 hour show was it's Project Bluebeam. It's going to be a fake invasion. And people have this mentality that if there were to be an actual alien landing with like actual aliens that aren't human, okay, people are going to brush it off so fast as saying, oh my gosh, what a funny joke, or it's obviously a fake invasion. Again, if it were to be real, that were to actually happen. And with the mentality that we have today, you can show people the bodies, you can show them photos, you can show them a landing, and they're gonna brush it off as it's a hoax. They're lying, they're paid actors, it's CGI, because of the day and age that we live in. Of course, you are going to have some that are going to say this is absolutely legit. This is the best time of my life. And that is great. You know, kudos to you to being optimistic. But then you have the pessimists that are going to say, nope, everything's a lie. Everything is fake. And I believe nothing in no one. You can't win. You can't. So with this particular landing that Mr. Geller is saying might happen in 10 to 20 years, maybe the mentality might change by that time frame. But if it were to happen tomorrow afternoon, I don't think it would go well. I don't think people would believe it. But with these hearings that are not just happening in the States, but also in Mexico and across the globe, Brazil also had one, I think it was last year. It might be along that time frame, with more minds being open to these topics of the UFO phenomenon, of these mysteries, of our universe, maybe, just maybe, no matter the amount of CGI and advanced technology that we have, we might be open-minded to the possibility of, hey, maybe these cool dudes really do want to hang out with us and land on our lawn and allow our minds to be just like literally blown. That would be 10 out of 10. Super amazing. And let me just tell you, I would invite them for ramen to show them our culture of deliciousness. You know, that 30-cent instant ramen, which is so bad for you, but absolutely delicious. And then while they're eating, right? Because the only way to a person's heart is through their stomach. And they're eating and they're fully enjoying it, I'll grab their little space keys, sneak on over to their craft, and then steal it. But I would make sure to really feed them with a lot of ramen and then give them all of my savings for the RV and say, hey, if you want to live here on Earth, here's all of this, which is like $20. But hey, that's something. And that's what I would do. But or if I'm really feeling nice, I would say, may I borrow your keys, please? I would like to take a tour of your craft. Do you want an extra passenger? I can do all the cooking for you. Not a big deal. I will bring packets and packets and packets of ramen if you give me a free flight through space forever. They get 2 options. Either I steal it and they stay here on Earth, or they let me come on the plane, on the craft with them, with a personalized chef only making ramen. I don't know. The second one's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Maybe with a little cracked egg, some chives. Oof. French kiss right there. Delicious. Love it. But now we are getting into the paranormal aspect of today's show. You know how it goes. We go with UFOs, the paranormal, science, and then just weird and strange. But here we are with ghosts, with the sighting that took place in England at a beautician shop. So let's pull this picture up. This is the actual image that was taken on one of their security cameras, and you can take it or leave it. It's up to you. But Nick says, gotta be chicken flavored. Oh, yes, preferably creamy chicken. That one's really good, but chicken is like the best flavor on the planet. Can't go wrong with that. Looking at this image right here, you see kind of a silhouette of a person. To me, honestly, it looks like, you know, when you're like, you get out of the pool or something and you like lean on the wall maybe, or like on the floor. That's kind of what it looks like. But let's read this story. Because Tyler Chorley, who owns the salon TJC and BLC Aesthetics in Manchester, I mean, that just rolls off the tongue so nicely. He fled his property after seeing what he believes is a family of ghosts, and he reported this to Kennedy News and Media. So, a 32-year-old beautician received notification of a humanoid on his shop motion detector cameras back in June, and this article is just coming out now. Chorley claims he spotted the outlines of parents and their 2 children among the shelves in their salon, which is whack, by the way. He says here, when I saw it, I was freaked out. I showed people I worked with, and they saw straight away. It was as bright as day. That rhymes. That was so great. He told the salon partner and co-owner, Bordy Chorley. These names, like, it looks simple, but then like saying it out loud just doesn't roll off the tongue that great. He also saw these sightings, and he was like, he was too scared to even return to their salon, which is like, that's so sad. That's terrifying. And it says here that both of them were absolutely petrified, and claims he learned that a mom and baby died in a fire on the property, which used to be a house before it became their salon. And so he believes that these are the spirits that he is seeing at this salon. It is those that had passed away in a house fire, which is really, really sad. But this image right here was taken on the CCTV footage. And here's the crazy part about this, is that they were so scared that they were like, you know what? Let's just get another property. Let's just move our salon somewhere else. So now they're paying for 2 pieces of property for their salon, which, I mean, is unbelievable because no one else wants to buy this location that is haunted. Also because of the market, right? And so they have to pay twice as much for both of their salons, even though one of them is closed and the other one is open. They've lost about $30,000 because of this, which is like really, really, really devastating. And he says that he ended up posting this on Facebook on August 17th. And he was saying, I don't know what's going on here, but can I get some people's opinion or advice? And if you are a psychic or a medium, come on over to this salon that is now closed, and maybe you'll feel the energy if you're into this, as it says right here. And so then overnight, his post blew up to where it received hundreds of comments and likes and shares and stuff. And a bunch of people were like, yeah, I'll go. Even to the point of other paranormal investigators in the area in England were like, I definitely want to check this out and see if it's real. We haven't got any updates since on that, but it goes to show that the internet, while there's a lot of dark aspects to it, if you know how to use it correctly, in this case for these salon owners, they shared their experience, they shared the pictures, and they said, come on over if you want to check it out or give us some answers. At the very least, cleanse it, because we just simply can't afford paying for 2 properties. When you use the internet in that way, it's going to receive so much traction and hopefully a lot of help as well, to where people that are decently knowledgeable in that topic that's, you know, being talked about in a post can come along and say, I can lend a helping hand, I can lend some funding, I can lend some knowledge, all these types of things. And that's one of the really incredible aspects of the internet, is that we truly are able to connect in certain ways and learn about the world to the best of our ability, which is amazing here. And Gary, thank you for that. For the raffle, if you love and support Cristina, heart a small price for support. Thank you for that. And I wrote that down looking at 45 right there. and my handwriting is absolutely garbage. I said a little bit earlier, it's like a four-year-old learning print and cursive at the exact same time. And not even I can read my own handwriting half of the time. Unless I really take my time and show pride in my penmanship, then maybe it might be decent. But even then, when I try really hard, it's not that great. But I think I showed all the images, right? So here's the salon. Here is the picture, and it's kind of circled of where the ghost is and his little ghost children. And then here's the one that isn't circled. What did you think about this article? Think it was interesting? Not so much. Do you believe it? Do you not? Would you visit it? Oh, hard yes. Yes. Crazy thing about this is that these guys were so scared to return to their salon that they left a lot of their equipment there. So they bought a new property. They remarketed it with this new salon, and they had to buy new equipment, which equipment is in general is just so expensive no matter what profession you're in, because they were too scared to go back in this one, which is really, really heartbreaking. But something that I've said to a handful of paranormal investigators that have been on the show, and I used to do interviews for Shifting the Paradigm, was we shouldn't fear the dead. We should fear the living. For the most part, the dead, they cannot harm people. Yes, you might get like some scratch marks, maybe a little bit of a shove if it's like pretty powerful. But a person, a full-blown human, right? Full-blown human. They can hurt you at any time. Have it be with their fists, with a weapon, with their words, right? All of these different things, they are a lot more dangerous than ghosts by very, very far. But many people fear ghosts, fear the paranormal, because it is in the category of the unknown, and humans cannot stand not knowing something, so much so that it creates this fear inside of them, which is valid. If we don't know, we're going to be a little bit fearful. But if we do know, we're like, I got this in the bag. I am ready to go. I'm ready. I'm excited. But when you don't know, become a little hesitant. You're like, should I put my hand in that hole in the wall? What's going to come out? Is there going to be another hand coming out, or a spider, or some cockroaches, or a cute little teddy bear? Don't know. Got to find out the hard way. Getting into our next one, bringing in the science, and this is really, really cool because we are looking at India, and actually, let me just pull this up because India just made history. They got one of their pieces of equipment to land on the moon's south pole. So India has accomplished what the rest of the world has failed, because Russia attempted a similar feat last week, but its aircraft crashed into the lunar surface, and NASA and China are years away from what India had just accomplished a few days ago. So the Southeastern Asian nation's Chandrayaan-3 made a soft landing at 8:34 a.m. ET Wednesday, sparking cheers and applause among the space scientists watching in the southern Indian city of Bengaluru. The craft, which means moon vehicle in Hindi and Sanskrit, landed on the South Pole, beating the US, China, and Russia to the unmapped region, which, as you know, China, Russia, and the United States have been at war, have been at the space race since the beginning. And for India to come along as like this underdog and achieving this, I mean, it blew the lid off for everyone in India. The South Pole is an uncharted territory that scientists believe could hold viral reserves of frozen water and precious elements. That's why so many of these countries were racing to get there. Russia failed, and NASA wants to get the Artemis program there by 2025. So the next year and a half, 2 years or so. And then you had China Russia that just failed earlier last week, which is like must have been so heart-wrenching, so disappointing for them. But this particular vehicle is expected to remain functional for 2 weeks, running a series of experiments, including a spectrometer analysis of the mineral composition of the lunar surface to determine if there is ice water. So right now, it's just kind of like hypothesized that there is frozen water at the South Pole. But now this craft is going to determine it if it's absolutely fact or not, which is really, really exciting because that information will be incredibly valuable when we want to place people on the moon, right? We need water. It's, I mean, number one thing, right? So this is going to be a big deal if and only if there is actually water at the South Pole of the moon. Super duper cool. And this article goes into a lot more detail, and I will place that link in the description box below. Getting into our next one, because we are speeding through these today, and hopefully you're able to catch up with me. So if you're like working out and you like but that kind of like super high pace music, this one is gonna just substitute that today. Because this next one, it's bringing in the spooky for the spooky season, but also it's a new find in the Antarctic oceans of an alien-like creature that is right here on planet Earth. There's no need to search out into space when we have our oceans. Monster soup, where only 10% have been scanned and explored, leaving 90% unknown and filled with monsters. This is one of those monsters. Let's pull this one up. It was just recently found, and if you look at it, like, it's something out of an alien movie. Take a look at this. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, jump over to YouTube. We always share images right here and videos sometimes, and you want to see this. You know what? It actually, okay, if you're just listening to this, it kind of looks like, you know, when you go to the grocery store and you see the albino asparagus, white asparagus. I actually don't know. I'm just going to call it albino asparagus. That's kind of what this looks like. So researchers have discovered an otherworldly 20-tentacled creature lurking in the frozen depths of the Antarctic Ocean. But now I simply cannot unsee albino asparagus or asparagus. That's the best way to pronounce it. So resembling an alien or a Lovecraftian horror, the Antarctic strawberry feather star. See, they're trying to make this thing sound super cute, but there is nothing cute about this. But it's a strawberry feather star. Ah, so adorable. Kids are gonna love it. Let's make it into a cute little plushie. No. Is one of the 4 new species of crinoids that scientists found at the bottom of the ocean. Crinoids are a group of eerie, perfectly symmetrical creatures, which is really crazy, by the way, perfectly symmetrical creatures that include sea lilies and sea feathers. Sea lilies attach themselves to the ocean floor with a stalk, while sea feathers abandon their stalk upon reaching maturity to waft themselves through the sea with mesmerizing, synchronized swishes of their arms. Very cool. But prior to the discovery, there was thought to be only one species of Antarctic feather star. But the new research has revealed that at least 8 species of the strange creature live in the waters surrounding the southernmost continent at depths ranging about 330 to 3,030 feet, or about 1,000 to 1,000 meters. Here's another image right here. This one, I mean, it looks like a tiny bit less spooky, but it's still pretty scary if you ask me. Ugh. You see all the little feathers, and it also kind of looks like a centipede or maybe some kind of spine of some creature. A bunch of different things. I wouldn't casually want to encounter one of these. Just casually, I might have to pass, but at the exact same time, truly fascinating. When it comes to our oceans, have been a lot of alien movies where the directors and the creators of these aliens, they look to our oceans, they look at these new creatures that have been found, and they model their aliens based off of spooky looking ocean creatures, which is amazing because our oceans, and I cannot stress this enough, our oceans are monster soup, and this is a perfect example of this. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't. You can't here. Getting on to our next one. Because, of course, it wouldn't be strange news without talking about robots and AI. And I feel like I say that almost every week, but it's accurate. So I'm going to pull this next image up. Oh, yeah. And by the way, the word of the day is noodles, #noodles. For a $45 Starbucks or Amazon gift card. If you want to make someone's day, put in a super chat that says for the gift card. We'll do the drawing at the very end of the show. So this right here, this image that we're seeing, these are robots. Because China just had a robot convention with 600 attendants that were robots, not even people. 600 robots attended this convention to show themselves to the world. It's spooky. It really is. Yeah. Paul, that's funny. Kind of strawberry with a hint of thyme. Nice. Nice. Truth says you don't say it enough. Are you referring to Monster Soup? Because you're absolutely right. I need to make it into a shirt. Like, that should be the merch. Our oceans are Monster Soup. Has to be. At some point when I find the time, I'm gonna make it. I have some stuff in the works, but I've been saying that for like a year and a half now. I am behind. But thank you everyone for putting hashtag noodles in the live chat if you are watching this live. Marty says, Feliz Viernes. Thank you. You too. Feliz Viernes. As you can tell, my Spanish is not amazing. My mom is always disappointed when I talk to her on the phone and she's like, Cristina, you need to really practice. And I said, I need to watch more news in Spanish. Just kind of like brush it up. It's not that great. Okay, getting into this. Let's zoom in. There is nothing flattering about alien, like, these are alien faces, but these are actually robot faces that look kind of like fleshy and just not fully there. Don't dig it. But hey, there's a market for it. So let's get into this article. This was called the World Robot Conference. No, excuse me. This was called the Beijing's Yichang International Exhibition and Convention that took place earlier this week. And as I had stated a little bit earlier, is that there were 600 robots in attendance. Now, among the machines on the show, a lot of them were realistic humans with synthetic skin, four-legged dogs, and hospitality robots serving customers food and drink. Meanwhile, there were agile robotic arms with multiple joints to use in factories to kind of show off their abilities and local concerns of machines taking over humans' jobs as well. This took place between August 16th and August 22nd. But one of the biggest draws of the event so far had to be these like robots that looked incredibly human. There's also this one. I don't know if I saved the picture. Here's some more images here. This one reminds me of what's that cartoon from like the early 2000s that was on Cartoon Network? Someone's gonna know which cartoon I'm talking about, but there were robots that looked like this. But this is the one. It's a robot with a panda head. I mean, say China without saying China. That is the cutest thing ever. And you know what? It feels a lot less scary than having a robot with a synthetic human face on it. Like, I would much rather be served by a super cute panda robot than a human robot. But that's just me. Is that really fixing anything? No. But I would feel a little bit more secure in myself if it had a panda head instead of a human face on it. Yeah. Burpine says Robo Panda. Oh yeah. Adorable. Kind of. Until you find out what it can do, then it's like a little bit less adorable, but you can never go wrong with pandas. Yeah. Chris says, so they can make a robot, but they can't make a suit fit? I know, right? It's weird. Let's go. Another image here. Oh, okay. Now these ones. With the little derp eyes. Yeah, these are incredibly spooky, mainly because of the derp eyes. But these are gray looking alien. Again, I want to say aliens because that's what they look like. But these gray looking human robot-oid things that look like they are from a sci-fi movie of some kind, wearing some kind of incredible armor. But it's only the top half. And then if you look in the back, arms just hanging from the ceiling. That's like a horror show for robots. Like, that is spooky right there. But here, it caught a lot of people's interest. It was kind of, again, it was a convention, aka kind of like a museum in some aspects, right? People are going, they're checking everything out, they're interacting with the robots are giving them coffee and some food. But there have been multiple robot conventions across the globe, such as in Saudi Arabia as well, which we have covered here. of them demonstrating tasks that humans can do, but that robots can also do. There's even this one of a robot that was able to like pretty nicely clean up a public bathroom. That was super cool. But then I read the comments, and this is like really funny. The comments said, "Why is there a camera in a public bathroom?" And let me tell you, that was the most valid point I've ever read. And that made me just a little bit creeped out right there. But then people were saying, "Oh, must have been a prototype bathroom." I really hope that's the actual answer there, because never again will I ever use a public bathroom after seeing that. But here, there were all different types of robots. There was even one which was a French artist, and it had a beret and a mustache drawn on his face, like a typical looking robot with a little cute little mustache. And it was drawing sketches for the surrounding crowd, which was cool or creepy, kind of up to you. Also, Unitree was there. We spoke about them last week and they've created different types of robots. One of them last week was a walking robot, but it looked like it always needed to use the restroom, which isn't that hot. But they're a really big company in China. And then they also had the robot dog called the Go-To as well. So there were a bunch of different companies that were there checking it out. And you know what? I think it would have been kind of cool to go and visit, but because it is our future, like, we cannot escape robotics by any means. Like, there is no going back after this. So might as well just, I guess, somewhat embrace it in some ways, because humans created these robots. That is kind of cool. But these ones, not so much. Very sci-fi outfit here, like, and then the faces in the back, very morbid for the poor robots, if you ask me. Getting into our next article, because now we're getting into the strange here. I'm going to pull up this image here because we've heard consistently of doctors attempting to receive kidneys from pigs and then placing them into humans and allowing them to work, right? There's been a lot of failures, but this one is a current success. So let's pull up this image here to show you what these doctors and surgeons have in mind. Because a genetically modified pig kidney transplanted into a brain dead patient over a month ago is still working normally, researchers have found, which is a really big deal. And this procedure was carried out by a team of surgeons in New York back in July. And researchers now are tracking the kidney's performance for a second month. It is the longest period of a gene edited pig kidney that has functioned in a human body ever. And it says here by one of the doctors stating, "Is this organ really going to work like a human organ? So far, it's looking like it is," which is a big deal, because then we don't have to harvest organs from other people. We can just do it from genetically modified pigs. Now, that's still that's still pretty bad, right? We want to go for the like really synthetic stuff, like robots, right? That kind of deal. That's kind of what we want to go for. But for the time being, we are using pig kidneys to help people with their issues that they're having with their kidneys. There have also been heart transplants. There have been brain transplants from using animals. It's something that has been tested for decades upon decades upon decades. And we are now just kind of better able to see some progress compared to 20 years ago. And this article also goes into more detail on how this is working for the brain dead patient and seeing the success that they are now monitoring the second month, which is the longest ever for a pig kidney to be in a human body and to work successfully. So that's a decent win, if you ask me. I feel like that's pretty good. But you can bring in the conversation of ethics, right? Like, is it really that great? Depends on who you ask. So we're at some point going to really bring in robots and all that kind of fun stuff and put that in our bodies instead at some point. I'm going to say probably the next 35, 40 years if we're lucky. But this next one, this one's funny. This one this one's funny, especially if you're into tattoos and or maybe a tattoo addict or one that just thinks that like, you know what? I'd get a tattoo if and only if it was paid for by someone. Well, you are in luck because Austria, out of all countries, is giving out free tattoos, but with one condition. Let's read this one. Because officials in Austria have drawn criticism for a scheme offering residents a year of free nationwide public transportation in exchange for a tattoo. So a year, like you can go on a train for a year traveling nationwide if and only if they pick your tattoo for you. And they want to place tattoos on people that is the name of a recently launched annual pass that 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 will be on there, and it says climate ticket. I'm not even gonna read this word because okay, I can say this. Climate ticket. Yes. So means climate ticket, which isn't, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse until I took my time to read it. But it's pretty much aimed at discouraging motorized individual transport. So they want to say, hey, if you have a car, you know what? It's your fault. Go ahead and instead use a train, use a bus, use any public means of transportation, which, whatever. It's up to you to make up your own mind on that. But they're saying, hey, we'll give you a free year ticket if and only if you get this tattoo on you. Funny in some aspects, a little spooky in others, but at least people are given the option to decide. And I'm going to guess here that a lot of people were like, dude, a free 1 year pass? I'm in. It's just one tattoo. It can't be that bad, especially if you have multiple of them. You can just kind of cover it up later, right? But for the tattoo virgins out there, they might be a little bit more hesitant. But still, it is pretty interesting. So the campaign officials said 6 people have thus far taken the offer and have gotten the climate ticket tattoos in exchange for free tickets. And they said several more received free tattoos with various environmental themes, but all they received for them was the tattoo itself. Would you do this? You know what? Let me ask you that. If you were given this, like the same opportunity, would you get the tattoo? Yes, no, tell me in the live chat, tell me in the comments as well. I do try to read all of the comments. I do. Charlie says, that's the worst advertising campaign ever. Let's permanently mark your body with a terrible tattoo for minimal return. Valid point. Hey, you know what? It's weird. But now we're getting into the more weird, but at the same time, you know what? I don't feel bad about this one. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here of a town that has the most confusing street lines. You're going to get what I mean when I share this image with you. Okay, let's pull this up. Look at this. If you were casually driving, wouldn't you be incredibly confused what all these lines mean? Because it's not for artistic purposes. This isn't for someone to express their artistic creativity. But instead, a small town in Western France has gone viral for marking a busy intersection with overlapping white lines in order to confuse motorists and make them slow down. They're like, whoa there, buddy, you're going way too fast. I'm going to confuse you on purpose, so that you could slow down and actually follow the speed limit. Because in some places, speed limits are just merely something to consider, maybe. In other countries, it's heavily, you gotta really follow it, right? But this town is home to about 1,700 people, which is really, that's like the size of my family. But it has to deal with heavy traffic on a daily basis because of its location at a crossroads between 2 departmental roads, D74 and D82. And some of the roughly 2,300 that pass through baune every day can have speeds of over 60 miles per hour or 100 kilometers an hour, which is really like that's impressive. Even the town's intersection is clearly marked with signs limiting the speed at 30 kilometers an hour, so like half the speed. People don't follow it. So, in order to get drivers to slow down, local authorities came up with the idea of using confusing road markings in the form of overlapping continuous lines to make people forcibly slow down. And interestingly enough, this has worked like a charm. Nice. You know what? It's not that bad. This is why I don't really feel bad about this one because it's kind of funny. Here's another image here. I think if I was driving, I would feel incredibly stressed. But, once you do it like 4 or 5 times, you get used to it. And then maybe the speeding will happen once again once these people get used to like the quotes kind of like confusion, which is it really? I think maybe just the first few times. Les Poole says, how do you know which way to go? It forces you to slow down and think about it and ask yourself that exact question. Sar says, the street line thing is hilarious. I am with you on that. I think it is so funny. John says, makes your feelings drunk. Oh yeah, with those lines, I can see that. Get it? Mew says, wait till the accidents start. But see, if everyone's slowing down, maybe there won't be any accidents. Or maybe there might be an extensive amount. We don't know yet because there hasn't been more information on this, but it is just one of those stories that it's very funny. Blue says, stay in your lane. Question is, how do you know which one is your lane? On the bright side, at least the lines are perfect for parking. So everything is great for the parking aspect, just not for the main road area. Too funny. I actually love this idea. But I don't recommend anyone doing this, by the way. I'm just saying, I just think it's great. Now we're going in for our very last article of the day. Please make sure to put in hashtag, noodles in the live chat, if and only if you are watching this live. We will do the drawing at the very end of the show, which will be rather shortly. So getting into our last article, there was a snake egg that hatched in England. And let me just share this image with you. It's pretty cool. Here it is. Perfect. Because a pet store in England said a two-headed snake hatched recently at the store in now 4 weeks, and which is now 4 weeks old. My goodness. And appears to be doing pretty great. There have been a handful of reptiles, it's usually reptiles, that are born with two heads and they die within a month, maybe a few weeks, sometimes even, a few days. In this case, it's been 4 weeks and the snake is still living strong. That is so exciting because this is a rarity here. So with this, they were pretty excited when they saw the egg hatch. They saw the body first, and they saw two heads, and they're saying, whoa, 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 what's going on here? They ended up keeping it, which is the only right thing to do, and feed it and make sure that everything was a-okay here. The pet store said that the snake was doing well after about 5 weeks, with one head easily eating, and when it was offered sardines. The store said in an Instagram post that the other head shows an interest in food, but appears to have a narrower throat, which requires smaller food. So you have one snake eating full-blown sardines, and then you have the other snake saying, I will only eat my food if it's nice and chopped, nice and small, because I am royalty, right? And you know what? Literally same. I feel that way too. I like nice and chopped and small. So that one snake is my spirit animal right there. But it also says here in the post, it says, it's strange to see that the left head will make the chewing motion of eating while the right head is eating. Okay, does that make sense? So when one snake head is eating, like actually eating food, the other snake head that isn't eating is also making the eating motions. So you got both of them eating, but only one of them is. That's kind of cute. That's actually very adorable. I like that. And that's why I had to share this article, because it is very strange and it's also very rare as well. John put in the hashtag noodle, which is our word of the day, which is awesome. Truth Freedom says, this is weird. Thank you. I'm glad you said that because it definitely is. And this is Strange Weekly News. So we only cover the weird, the strange, and the mysterious. Squid says, it won't get lonely. Very true. But sometimes you just kind of want privacy, you know? So yeah, not lonely, but also like always in someone else's company. And for me, I only have a social battery at the very most 2 hours. After that, I need to retreat in my own little cave and then like recharge for an extra 24 hours. So for myself, no, I very much like to be alone. And which is not the same thing as lonely, by the way. But yeah, social battery, 2 hours where you get this. And then after that, it's like, yeah, yeah, cool. Great. Yum. That's why you're always at any gathering, no matter where I am, you're always going to find me in the area where there's food because when I'm eating, I can't speak. See what I did there? Genius. Well, that is it for all of our articles today. Out of all the ones that we covered, which one was your favorite? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comments as well. As you could probably tell, my favorite by far was the Mexican UAP hearing. September 12th at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Stay notified right here on this channel. Subscribe. And I will let you know on if we will be streaming that video or that hearing right here. All right. So subscribe so that you know all the information. Put in hashtag noodles for a $45 Starbucks or Amazon gift card. I will give you just a few moments in order to place that in the live chat. We have 100 entries, but we have 359 people watching this live. Please like this video if you enjoyed any of the articles that we covered today. It lets me know that you're enjoying the show, but it's bullying the YouTube algorithm to say, hey, I want some more strange news. This isn't that taboo. Please cover more of it. So hit that like button. Even before you place hashtag noodles on the live chat. You got to do both. It can't be one or the other here. All right. I will give you 5 extra seconds to place that in. And then we will do that drawing shortly. Nice. Everyone's on top of it today. Oh, and Chris, thank you so much for sharing the Discord link with 2,400 other like-minded members. Share your thoughts, your insights, your experiences, and more right there on that Discord server. Okay, let's see. Hey, Jeremiah, at least you still made it to the live. That's awesome. You can just watch the replay, but you're here. And that's what all that matters. You're able to put hashtag noodles in the live chat. Nice, nice. I'll give you 3 seconds, everyone. Okay, here we go. We're doing the drawing in 3, 2, 1. Let's see who is going to be our winner today. Down. High Quality Earth Co. Congratulations, you are the winner today for our gift card giveaway. Please send me an email with your YouTube URL, and if you prefer a Starbucks or Amazon gift card, once I receive that email, I will send you that e-gift card rather shortly. Thank you for everyone watching this live, for all the super chats, super stickers, for the YouTube members, Patreon supporters, all of my amazing moderators, and of course, every single one of you that caught this show live right here on YouTube. You know, I simply cannot do this show without you. If you want to continue this conversation, bring it over to the Discord server. Chris already shared that link. Also, follow me on Twitter at eyes_on_the_skies for all of my updates and news. Also, take a look at my Instagram at Strange Paradigms for pictures and small videos, like little 60-second videos, which are always fun. But if you are enjoying all the content that you're seeing right here, do consider being a Patreon supporter. All the funding goes straight to the channel, to Puck the Puckwudgie, the best co-host of all time in the history of co-hosts, and to the RV Fund, where I'll be traveling the United States, hitting all the UFO and paranormal hotspots, and documenting it and taking you on the journey with me. That is it for today. I will see you next time. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies.